Welcome back. Next, let's practice the Python command together in order to test whether our installation of Python CHEN is successful or not. Now, please look at my screen and follow my operations. Okay, let's click Start, and we have Anaconda here. Then we start Jupyter Notebook. Yeah, we have started Jupyter Notebook here. So first, I recommend you to set up a subfolder for this command. Now, look at my screen. So let's click New here, and we have a folder here. Okay, actually, we have already created a folder. It's here, but I don't like this name, so I expect to change to another name, more useful name. For example, SICA means Security Investment Case Analysis. So let's click Rename. Okay, we have the folder here. And we can put all our Python scripts inside this folder. It's easy for you to find it again. And then let's click New again. Now this time, let's click Python 3. Okay. Now we're creating a new Python script. Okay, first I'd like to change the name first. Rename. For example, my first Python. Okay, my first Python. Rename. Now, this is the interface for Jupyter Notebook. It is very simple, almost nothing here, right? Just a blank line for you to key in commands. Now, in order to use Python, we need to enable CHEN first. Okay, so from CHEN, import star. So this command means let's enable all the functions of CHEN now. So whenever you open a Jupyter Notebook, this command need to be executed once, but only once. That's okay. Then press the Shift Enter key together. Okay. Whenever we see a star here, it means this command is being executed by Python. So after the star disappears means the execution finished. If no information here, that means great. Everything is fine. Everything is fine. So before we move to next command, let's check the language environment here. So check language bracket. Press Shift Enter key. Okay, it is now in Chinese language. Right? Now we will set it into English environment. Set language bracket double quotes English. Okay, then press Shift Enter together. It says global language is set to English. Now, okay, we will start to use English environments. Okay, then let's try to replay the command we'll show you just now. So, Apple price equals to security price. First command, Apple stock code, AAPL. Then starting date, 2021, January the 1st. End date, 2021, December 31st. Okay, so let me explain this command. We have an equal symbol here. And before this, it is called a variable. It is called a variable. A variable. A variable, well, what is a variable? So the variable here is designed to accept or to store the data. The data of what? The data of Apple stock price. Apple stock price. To store those data for other use. For other use. Okay, we will look at the data again later. Here we have the security prices. This is called a Python command. A Python command. A Python command. So the Python command here is to demonstrate the stock price you expect from the starting date to the ending date. Then which stock? So we will need to tell the command which stock we need to demonstrate. Here we use stock code. Stock code. We know that Apple stock code is AAPL. So what is the stock code for Microsoft, which is MSFT? MSFT. So what is the stock code for Facebook? It is FB. Facebook. What is the stock code for Amazon? It is AMZN. So you may have a question, where do I find out all these stock codes? Okay. We have Baidu. Okay. You can search in Baidu. You can find out almost all the stock codes of all stocks worldwide. Okay. You simply key in Apple, then stock code, then enter. If you cannot find stock code in Baidu, then you can find in another search engine called Bing. Okay, now it's the moment of exciting. Let's execute the command and see the results. So we have our cursor here. Then how to execute this command? Press the Shift Enter key together. Let's see the exciting moment. So these are the message the command is telling you what they are doing. The first message is searching prices for corresponding securities. Please wait. If your internet connection is fast, like mine, you will not need to wait long time. But if your internet connection is pretty slow, probably you have to wait a couple of minutes, or even longer time. It depends on the speed of your internet connection. And then next message is trying to capture prices from Sina Easter money for Apple. EM refers to Easter money. And then the third message, searching info for in Sina for Apple. And the last one, successfully retrieved the 252 records for Apple. This is the results. This is the results. Let's see how to read this picture. So let's look at the horizontal axis. It's the axis for date. The starting point is January 2021. The ending date is actually the end of the year 2021. It marks the source of the data from Sina Finance or stock. But usually we search Sina Finance first. If we cannot find out the data we need, we'll search stock again. This is the vertical axis. For vertical axis, we use the close price of a stock. For now, you can simply understand the price of the stock. And this is the title of a figure. The title. This title we said very simple. Security price trend. This is a trend, right? For which stock? Apple. For Apple. So this one we call them legend. Here in the legend, we can see two lines. The legends for two lines. The blue solid line refers to the close price, and the The dash red lines refers to the trend line, the trend line. The trend line, sometimes we need the trend line to clearly demonstrate the trend of stock price movement. Usually for trend, we have three typical trends. So first trend, and the trend we usually expect to see in security market, which is the upward trend. Upward trend. Okay, this is the one we usually expect to see. And then the downward trend. This is the trend we are not willing to see, right? And we have a third type of trend, means vibrating trends. Vibrating trends. So vibrating trends usually means flat, but vibrating. Flat and vibrating. So what is called vibrating? This is called vibrating, right? So the trend, the overall trend is actually flat, right? But fluctuates very much. Maybe this one. Vibrating, fluctuation. Okay, do we have any questions here? Okay, I see a question. The question is, can CHEN be used to search stocks in China stock market? Of course, of course. CHEN supports mainland China stock market, China Hong Kong stock market, Japan stock market, Korea stock market, India stock market, US stock market, Germany stock market, France stock market, India stock market, well, even Saudi Arabia stock market and Israeli stock market. Okay, lots of stock markets. But in order to access some of the stock market, well, you may need to overcome the internet restrictions to access Yahoo, because Yahoo Finance can provide almost all the information of the securities worldwide. Okay, let's go back to our slides. Okay, we have the same pictures here. We have the same pictures here. Now, we'd like to extend our case into most recent dates. So let's look at here. The starting point here is from January the 1st, 2021, and the ending date is just the end of 2021. Now, I expect you to do a quick exercise to extend the ending date to today. Today means 2022, July. What is the date? July 11, right? July 11. Okay, now let's do it together. And if you finish that, please postpone your results in our course WeChat group. Okay. Let's copy the commands. Control C, then to a new blank line. So we need to change the date here to 2022, okay, July 11. July 11. Now let's execute this command. So by changing the date to today, we can know the stock price movement trend starting from 2028, January the 1st to today. It's more meaningful, right? It's more meaningful. Let's execute the command by Shift Enter. Okay, start to run. Okay, I've seen someone already post their results, but I cannot open it. Find out why. Yeah. Okay, we have the results here. We have the results here. Now, we have the most recent situation about the stock price movement trend for Apple. Let's see, the first person who have posted their results is He Yi. He Yi, are you there?
Yes.
Okay. You want to say a few words to explain the results, the picture?
At first it's upwarding and then it's downward.
Downward at the beginning, right? And then
Upward.
and then
Upward until
and
20.
and then upward until
2022.
it's the beginning of this
January.
year, right? It's the beginning of this
Yes.
year. So this position we usually call the ceiling point. The ceiling point. You know the word ceiling, right? The ceiling point. The ceiling point. And then
And then downward.
downward. But here we have then down, right? And then
yes, upward and then
upward again. But in general, the Apple stock price this year is in a downward trend, right? In general.
yes.
Yeah. And what is the floor points of their stock price is here, right?
Yeah.
We call the floor points. The floor points. But sometimes we have multiple floor points in terms of the period, right? Okay, the floor point. Floor point versus ceiling points. Okay. And we have other words for these points as well. So let's look at these points. So before these points is in general upward trend, and after that is downward trend. So sometimes we also call this point as the turning points. As the turning points, right? The turning point. Okay, thank you very much, He Yi. And then let's get back to our slides. Now, similarly, you can check the price movement of multi. So next, let's try to do the exercise case for multi. And we have the starting date from January the 1st this year and to today. So after you complete, you can postpone your results in our course WeChat group as well. And I will try to find out the person to explain the results. Okay, let's do for multi. Okay, here we change to multi. Okay, here we need to change to multi-stock code. So multi-stock code is 600519.ss. Here SS means multi-stock. Excuse me. Multi-stock is listed in Shanghai Stock Exchange, SS. What about for stocks listed in Shenzhen Stock Exchange? It's .sz. This is for stock listed in Shenzhen. What about for stocks listed in Hong Kong? Okay, here would be Hong Kong. Okay, what about for Japan? It's for T. Okay, T actually for Tokyo Stock Exchange. What about for the stocks listed in Korea? KS. Okay, now let's use SS first. Apple. Okay, let's do for multi. Well, okay, the date is different, right? I need to change 2021, January the 1st. Sorry, 2022. 2022, okay, July 11. Okay, He Yi, you're quick, but this time we find another person. Guo Dexin.
Professor, could you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, but your voice sounds low.
Oh.
Probably you need to speak closer to your microphone.
Okay.
Okay, so this is the picture of stock price movement for multi, which is listed in mainland China, right? And Shanghai Stock Exchange. You want to say a few words and explain the results?
There is a turning point around
around, I think
Ap-
mid-March, right?
Yeah.
Mid-March. Yeah, it's turning point or the floor points, right? The
yes.
floor points. And what do you think about the trend of the stock price movement for Moutai?
It went downward before the mid-March.
Okay, downward or a downward trend, right? So after that,
It went upward.
upward. Okay. There is another interesting thing that you look at the stock price here, it's more than 2,000 kwai, right? And at the beginning of the year, it's also 2,000 kwai, right? So they are roughly the same. That means after half year, 7 months, the stock price of Moutai eventually gets back to that at the beginning of the year, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so sometimes we say that this type as a U type or a U shape. Okay, this is a U, right?
Yeah.
Similar to the letter U. But you may argue, okay, it's also similar to the letter V. Never mind, okay? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor.
Okay, so if you can see these two pictures, that means you have successfully installed Python and CHEN. Okay, if you want, you can do more exercises, such as Xiaomi. Okay. Xiaomi stock listed in Hong Kong, 腾讯, and Jingdong, BMW, and Tesla. Okay, so these are the stock code. Okay. Next, let's talk about some of the common problems. Okay, the most common problems in Python, especially for Python beginners, is the punctuations. Okay, so my suggestion is do not use Chinese punctuations in Python commands. Do not use. Always use English punctuations. Okay, so the typical punctuations used in Python command, we have single quote, double quote. We can write in something here. We have bracket, round bracket. Sorry, this is round bracket. This is square bracket. We have this kind of bracket as well. And also we have comma. We don't have stop. We have comma. Make sure you use English punctuations. Never use Chinese punctuations in Python commands. If you use it, Python will prompt you an error message. So the characteristics of this kind of error message usually have a keyword EOL here. So whenever you find error message with the keyword EOL, you must be realized that you have used Chinese punctuations. So simply find it out and change to English punctuations. Let me demonstrate Chinese punctuations and English punctuations, their differences. Just for you to be aware. Okay. So let's compare English punctuations and Chinese punctuations. So what are the punctuations? It's a Chinese punctuations. It's a Chinese comma. It's a Chinese square bracket. Okay, Chinese one. Okay, what about English one? Okay, this is English double quotes. This is English single quotes. This is English comma. This is English round brackets. And this is English square brackets. Sorry, this is not square. This is square brackets. This is also in English. Okay. You need to use this part. If you use these parts, Python will prompt you an error message. Please be aware about this. Okay. Any command? Any questions? Any questions? Okay, let me show you a small tip how to quickly capture a part of the screen. Okay, so for Windows 10 and Windows 11, we have a shortcut key. Press the Windows key in your keyboard and hold it, then press Shift and press S. So Windows key plus Shift plus S. So then your screen will become gray or dim. Then you can use your mouse to select an area in your screen. Then you can copy everything in this area. Then you can post it in your course WeChat group. Okay, so you can copy theoretically anything as long as it is displayed in your screen. Okay, let's move next one. Okay, I just see a question from Xun Jiahui. The question is, what are the units of the vertical axis? Let's back to the screen. Okay, for this one, the unit of a vertical axis is quite. It's RMB. It's RMB. Okay, 2,000, 1,000. But for this one is US dollar. This one is US dollar. Because the stock of Apple is traded in US dollar. It's traded in US dollar, while the stock of Multi is traded in renminbi. Okay. So we will find out more information in the fourth module in company profile. Hopefully I have answered your questions. Okay, if no questions, let's move to module 1. Module 1. In module 1, our topic is stock. Topic is stock. So every topic in module 1 is about stock. In this module, we will have lots of topics, but I promise all the topic in module 1 is very easy, very simple for you to understand. Okay, it's not complicated at all. The first topic in module 1, we will talk about 2 kinds of stock prices. First one is called the open price, and the second one is called the close prices. Okay. In each topic, usually we will have a topic question. So the whole topic is purposed to answer this question. And usually the topic questions represents the critical knowledge points in this topic. So the topic question in this topic is how to briefly and quickly describe what? The movement of opening and closing prices of a stock in a trading day. Okay. This time we will use Microsoft as our case studies. Microsoft. So Microsoft's products is very popular worldwide. Now, many of you may be using Microsoft Windows 10 or most recently Windows 11. And probably you are using Microsoft Office. So the most oftenly used products is Microsoft Word, Microsoft Excel, and Microsoft PowerPoint. So thanks to Microsoft Office, okay, this course, the course stuff and course slides is made in Microsoft PowerPoint. Okay, so this figure demonstrates the open and close price of Microsoft. Okay, here we start from the beginning of March 2020 to the end of March 2020. Okay, so the horizontal axis is about date. So These are called observations. Observations. So actually, observation is a term in statistics. Observations. One dot is called one observations. And these observations move along date. So this type of a sample, we call them time series. Time series. So this is a time series sample, right? And the vertical axis, sometimes we call it the y-axis, Here the y-axis is the stock price, right? Here is in US dollar. And this is the legend. So from the legend, we can tell that the blue solid line represents for Microsoft open price, and the dash orange lines represents for Microsoft close price. So for the movement of open and close price of Microsoft in this figure, what can you tell? So can you find out? So first phenomenon, we find an interesting phenomenon. This is called twisting. Means the open and close price always twist each other, always. Then we find out that they may be correlational. Correlation, right? So our findings for the open and close price is very interesting phenomenon. Relational twisting. We call this phenomenon as relational twisting. So these keywords, we have two key words here. One is called relational, means they are correlated, and twisting. So we can prove that later using many other ways, such as Pearson correlation. We can use this to prove. Okay, you may need to learn this in your course of statistics. So what is called relational twisting means they are always intertwining or intertwined with each other. Okay, this is called relational twisting. Okay, this looks very simple, right? Okay, these are the noise points. So we have two noise points here, actually. First one, what is called open price, and then what is called the close price. An open price, well, it's very different from the close price. An open price is actually a list price, rather than a deal price. Okay, that means no stock are traded at this price, but the open price usually provides a reference for the first trade of a stock in a trading day. It is usually set by stock exchange, when market is open for a new trading day. Okay. Now the key word here is just the list price. For the close price, historically, people use the price of last trade in a trading day, before the market is closed. So that's why this price is called the close price. But sometimes we find that the last price of the last deal, usually there was some occasional implications by some news, good news or bad news. So usually modern stock exchange probably may need to use the average of several deals before the market is closed to calculate and take them as the close price. So this kind of calculation helps to avoid occasional factors. Okay, and then we have a concept about the spread. So the spread here is calculated this way. The spread is close price minus open price. Okay, the spread. Then we can have a quick analysis on spread. If spread is greater than 0, that means close price is higher than open price. That means the stock is in an upward trend in this trading day. Upward trend, right? If the spread is less than 0, that means the close price is less than open price. And in this specific trading day, the stock price is in general in the downward trend. Okay, so the spread between the close price and open price is very valuable for security analysts to do something, to say something. Okay. Well, this is the case script for the open and close price of Microsoft. This time we will need to learn a new Python command. The new Python command is called compare stock. We will use this command very often later. Compare what stock? Okay. There were two situations for this command. The first situation is we compare one stock, but for two different measurements. Such as close price versus open price. We may find more measurements later. Second situation is we compare two stocks, and we have to use one measurement. Okay, so this command can do both trend analysis and comparative analysis. So in other words, this command consolidates two analytical methods, trend analysis and comparative analysis. So that's why this command would be very useful in this course. It will be used very often in this course as well. Okay, then we will take a 10 minutes break, and after the break, we'll do the exercise for these commands together.